What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including The Undertaker having one more match. Did a WWE star spoil big upcoming plans? The latest on Roman Reigns versus The Rock? A WWE star still hasn't signed a new WWE deal? Cody Rhodes agrees to be a fan's best man? Rhea Ripley fires back, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out our new website, Wrestlelamia.com. And now let's hit the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at, could The Undertaker be having one more match? Our top story today takes a look at recent comments from legendary commentator Jim Ross, which related to The Undertaker potentially having one more match. On the latest edition of his Grill and JR podcast, JR stated that the dead man is still in a position to go out there and have a great match with the right opponent. I'm not advertising or trying to promote another match for Taker at this stage of his career, but quite honestly, he could still go out there and have one great match with the right opponent because he's just so skilled that he could bring out the best in that opponent. Fans will no doubt be split on whether The Undertaker should actually wrestle again, as the dead man seems quite content with his retirement and new ventures. The dead man had his retirement match back in 2020 as he defeated AJ Styles in a boneyard match in the main event of WrestleMania 36. Next up, a current WWE star shoots on WrestleMania main event. Sheamus is currently off WWE television with an injury, yet in his time away from the squared circle, he's still on media duties for WWE, and his latest interview with Virgin Media Sports Stories was interesting to say the very least. The former WWE champion would discuss his acclaimed WrestleMania 39 match, and Sheamus outright stated that he believes that his triple threat match against Gunther and Drew McIntyre should have been in the prestigious main event slot of the show. I want to main event WrestleMania 2. I want to main event WrestleMania. That's another one. The IC title and main event WrestleMania are the two things I want to do. I should have main evented WrestleMania last year or this year, 2023. It should have gone on last. It stole the show at WrestleMania. Nothing came close match-wise. The match me, Gunther and Drew had, I knew that was always going to be the case. I was so close to winning the title at Mania and just gotten taken away from me. Do you guys agree with Sheamus? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a WWE star officially called up. After 7 years in NXT, Tyler Bate has officially been called up. Bate made his official main roster debut this past Friday on SmackDown, and now WWE have confirmed that he's a full-time SmackDown star on WWE.com. Bate is one of the best pure wrestlers on the brand, and his tag team partnership with Butch had a ton of potential. Congrats to the inaugural NXT UK champion on finally being called up to the main roster. Next up, did a huge WWE name spoil Elimination Chamber plans? Did Becky Lynch drop a major Elimination spoiler in a recent interview? Well, the man was recently interviewed on the Casual podcast with Brad Tate, and Lynch said that she wants to make her Elimination Chamber debut this year and main event WrestleMania through winning the Chamber matchup. Is this Lynch hinting at what's to come? She's currently one of the favorites to win the Royal Rumble in just under 3 weeks, yet if WWE don't want Lynch winning the annual matchup, then a Chamber win is certainly one way to achieve the heavily rumored Lynch vs Rhea Ripley WrestleMania title match. She said, there's a big old premium live event coming up, but first there's Elimination Chamber. Did you know that I've never been in Elimination Chamber? I've been in many matches, nearly all types of matches one could do in the wrestling ring, but I've not been in the Elimination Chamber. So I'm looking at that and thinking maybe it's time Becky Lynch makes her debut in an Elimination Chamber match. Maybe she wins, and maybe she goes on to main event WrestleMania once again. What do you guys think? Is Becky Lynch going to be in the Elimination Chamber match and go on to be in the WrestleMania main event? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the latest on Roman Reigns vs The Rock. Now, it came as a huge surprise when Dave Meltzer in this week's Observer claimed that Roman Reigns vs The Rock could take place in Saudi Arabia. Meltzer would again touch on the topic at the latest Observer, and Meltzer seems to think that The Rock may be interested in working in Saudi if the money is right. I would lean toward that. The Rock wants to do WrestleMania, but I mean, if Saudi Arabia offers an incredible amount of money, I don't know, it feels like going there is not a big deal anymore. You know, when it was in his best interest not to go for the political reasons, but I don't know if that is a factor in Hollywood anymore. I don't know. There's a lot of money in that, pure money. There's still no news as to whether WWE have locked down The Rock for WrestleMania this year. There were rumors that the match could take place at Elimination Chamber no matter what happens. The next few months are going to be turbulent with several twists and turns as we head into WrestleMania season. Next up, has Drew McIntyre re-signed with WWE? Well, based on Drew McIntyre's recent presentation on TV, fans have been assuming that the former WWE champion has re-signed with WWE. However, according to a Q&A delivered by PW Insider, that isn't quite the case. We've not heard WWE and McIntyre have come to terms on a new deal yet. Whilst the WWE will no doubt be trying to secure McIntyre and have him sign a new contract, there is a ton of opportunity for McIntyre outside WWE, and an AEW or New Japan run would be fascinating to watch. McIntyre still has a lot left to achieve in WWE, and he still has yet to be given a world title run in front of fans. As always, we'll keep you posted on the latest news when it comes to McIntyre's WWE status. Next up, Rhea Ripley fires back. And one of the common criticisms directed towards Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley is that she doesn't wrestle enough and is mostly used in segments with the Judgment Day. Ripley would address these criticisms in a 2024 preview special, and Ripley managed to blur the lines between kayfabe and reality with her answer. People like to complain that Mommy doesn't have many matches. Mommy doesn't do too much. She's too involved with the Judgment Day. But at the end of the day, Mommy is busy doing business. I'm running Monday Night Raw and I'm running my division, and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. She also had some praise for her Raw Day 1 opponent, Ivy Nile. It was very impressive, Ivy. She hasn't had many single matches in general, and for that to be her first one on the Red Brand on Raw on Monday Night Mommy, she really did hold her own, and I gotta give it to her. The little pipsqueak, she's got some fight in her. She caught me off guard a couple of times, but at the end of the day, this is Mommy's world and you're just living in it. I had to get the job done. Next up, an update on MJF's AEW status. One of the biggest stories of the past week relates to former AEW World Champion MJF. He was removed from the AEW roster page on January 1st, and Tony Khan has now been asked during an interview on Going Ringside if MJF has actually left the company. Khan had a peculiar response that seemed to imply that MJF has yet to re-sign and is currently a free agent. I can say that MJF certainly has been a great part of AEW for the first 5 years, and through those 5 years, certainly he's been one of our great homegrown stars, and he's somebody we really value, and I would love to have MJF in AEW in the future should the contractual situation allow. Certainly MJF is somebody we would love to have on AEW going forward, and he's been a great wrestler and a great champion for us. There are still reports that AEW are working a storyline and MJF has already re-signed with AEW. As things stand, MJF is still taking time away to heal nagging injuries, and will likely know more information on his status in the coming months. Next up, Tony Khan addresses a huge WWE rumor. Speaking of Tony Khan's interview on Going Inside, he was asked to comment on the rumbling surrounding WWE potentially becoming a part of the Warner Bros. Discovery Network. Scott, it's part of a sport, so I think everybody discusses contracts and free agents and things of that nature. I think everybody's aware that everybody's going to be talking to everybody in the media this coming year, so there'll be certainly a lot of opportunities. And I think that, we've had a great history with Warner Bros. Discovery and continue to produce great ratings, so I think we'll be in a very good position next year. Khan doesn't seem too concerned that AEW and WWE could potentially be under the same umbrella when it comes to TV rights. Next up, Cody Rhodes agrees to be a fan's best man. After his match at yesterday's WWE live event, Cody Rhodes noticed a fan was holding a sign requesting Rhodes to be the best man at his wedding. Upon seeing this, Rhodes amazingly agreed. Rhodes' connection with the fans is incredible, and Rhodes continues to show why he's a top babyface in the entire company. Next up, WWE announces attraction matches. Our final story today takes a look at a so-called major announcement from WWE. Yesterday, they posted a video to their socials of Raw GM Adam Pearce announcing 2 so-called attraction singles matches. The 2 matches are as follows: JD McDonough vs The Miz and Ludwig Kaiser vs Kofi Kingston. Our fans are hilariously bashing WWE for making these 2 matches seem like a very big deal. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.